Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudire Nashtakayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavati Sevaya Bhagavati Uttam Shloke Bhakti Bhakti Nastaki. So continuing with the discussion on Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 1, Portions by Vidura, text number 25 onwards. Savasudevanucharam prashantam brihaspate praktanayam pratitam alingya gardam pranayena bhadram swanam prichad bhagvat prajanam. Then, due to his great love and feeling, Vidura embraced him, Uddhava. So Vidura embraced Uddhava, who was a constant companion of Lord Krishna and formerly a great student of Brihaspati's. Vidura then asked him for news of the family of Lord Krishna, the personality of Godhead. Vidura was older than Uddhava, like a father, and therefore when the two met, Uddhava bowed down before Vidura, and Vidura embraced him because Uddhava was younger, like a son. Vidura's brother Pandu was Lord Krishna's uncle, and Uddhava was a cousin to Lord Krishna. According to social custom, therefore Vidura was to be respected by Uddhava on the level of his father. Uddhava was a great scholar in logic, and he was known to be a son or disciple of Brihaspati, the greatly learned priest and spiritual master of the demigods. Vidura asked Uddhava about the welfare of his relatives, although he already knew that they were no longer in the world. This inquiry appears to be very queer, but Srila Jiva Goswami states that the news was shocking to Vidura, who therefore inquired again due to great curiosity. Thus his inquiry was psychological and not practical. So Vidura knew that Krishna has wound up his pastimes and he has sent all the Yadavas back to the spiritual world. But he was shocked and he was still trying to find out from Uddhava what happened. Text 26. Kachit Purano Prusho Sanabhya Padmanu Vrityah Kilavatirano Asat Urvya Kushlam Vidhaya Kritakshano Kushlam Kshur Gehe. Please tell me whether the original personalities of God who incarnated themselves at the request of Brahma, who was born out of the lotus flower from the Lord, and who have increased the prosperity of the world by elevating everyone, are doing well in the house of Shursena. Lord Krishna and Balram are not two different personalities of Godhead. God is one without a second, but he expands himself in many forms without their being separate from one another. They're all plenary expansions. So plenary expansions in the same plane means they have the same potency, just different functions. The immediate expansion of Lord Krishna is Baladeva, and Brahma, born from the lotus flower from Garbhadaksha Vishnu, is an expansion of Baladeva. This indicates that Krishna and Baladeva are not subjected to the regulations of the universe. On the contrary, the whole universe is under their subjugation. They appeared at the request of Brahma to liberate the burden of the world, and they relieved the world by many superhuman activities so that everyone became happy and prosperous. Without the grace of the Lord, no one can become happy and prosperous, because the happiness of the family of the Lord's devotees depends on the happiness of the Lord. Vidura first of all inquired about the well-being of the Lord. So first he is inquiring about the well-being of Krishna and Balaram. But because Vidura is treating them like his very close person, if he has thought of they are the supreme personality of Godhead, he wouldn't have asked them about the well-being of Bhagwan. There's nothing to add. Bhagwan is always well. But Vidura, out of his affection, out of his love for Krishna and Balram, he's asking this: how are they doing? And he says here in the shloka, and who have increased the prosperity of the world by elevating everyone. Means Krishna Balram, they have increased the prosperity of the world. Means everything, if we want to become happy and prosperous, like Prabhupada also says, without the grace of the Lord, no one can become happy and prosperous. So we see many people in the world, they are not devotees, but still they're very happy and prosperous. Well, prosperous, yes, happy, we don't know. And moreover, they must have done plenty of pious activities in the previous lives to come to this position of prosperity. But to really become happy and prosperous, one has to depend on the mercy of the Lord. That doesn't mean we don't do our activity, we don't put in our effort. We have to put in our effort, but the dependence should be on the grace, on the mercy of the Lord. Text 27. Kachit kurunam parma suharinno bhama saaste sukhamang shori yo veswasrinam pitri vad dadati varan vadanyo varatarpanena. Please tell me whether the best friend of the Kurus, our brother-in-law Vasudeva, is doing well. He is very munificent. He is like a father to his sisters and is always pleasing to his wives. Lord Krishna's father Vasudeva had 16 wives, and one of them named Pauravi or Rohini. The mother of Baladev was a sister of Vidura. Now this connection I have never figured it out. How Mother Rohini was sister of Vidura, and I've asked so many scholars, people, devotees who are known for their scholarships. They haven't told me the connection here. Because Vidura, he was born of this maidservant, and he was the only son of that maidservant. He didn't have a real sister. So maybe somehow Rohini was a cousin sister, but how was that relationship? I have no idea. How did that work out? But here Prabhupada writes Rohini was the sister of Vidura, and she is the mother of Balaramji, and she is queen of Vasudeva. Vasudeva therefore was the husband of Vidura's sister, and thus they were brothers-in-law. Vasudeva's sister Kunti was the wife of Pandu, Vidura's elder brother, and in that sense also Vasudeva was brother-in-law to Vidura. Kunti was younger than Vasudeva, and it was the duty of the elder brother to treat younger sister as daughter. Whenever anything was needed by Kunti, it was munificently delivered by Vasudeva due to his great love for his younger sister. Vasudeva never dissatisfied his wives, and at the same time he supplied the objects desired by his sister. He had special attention for Kunti because she became a widow at an early age. While inquiring about Vidura's welfare, Vidura remembered all about him and the family relationship. So now Vidura is asking about Vasudeva. So there are two relationships with Vasudeva. One is Rohini, who was sister of Vidura, was married to Vasudeva, and second was so Vasudeva's sister Kunti. Vasudeva had a sister Kunti or Pritha, and she was married to Pandu. Pandu was Vidura's elder brother, and in that sense also Vasudeva was related to Vidura. And Vasudeva was known to have special affection for his sisters, and he would take care of his wives also at the same time. Text 28. Kachit varutadhipatir yadunam pradimna aste sukhamanga viraha yam rukmini bhagavato abhilebhe aradhya vipran smaram adi sarge. Oh Uddhava, please tell me how is Pradyumna, the commander-in-chief of the Yadus, who was Cupid in a former life? Rukmini bore him as a son from Lord Krishna by the grace of Brahmins whom she pleased. According to Srila Jiva Goswami, Smar, Cupid or Kamadev is one of the eternal associates of Lord Krishna. Jiva Goswami has explained this very elaborately in his treatise, Krishna Sandarbha. So Jiva Goswami has written 6 Sandarbhas: Krishna Sandarbha, Bhakti Sandarbha, and there are so many others. I don't remember all of the names. And those Sandarbhas are considered as the topmost philosophical books based on Gaudiya Vaishnavism. And that's why Jiva Goswami is considered one of the topmost scholars of Gaudiya Vaishnavism. And he had I think he had written 100,000 verses in all of his books combined. So amazing scholarship he had. And he had somehow explained that Kamadev is an eternal associate of Krishna. Text 29. Kachit sukham sattvat vrishni bhoja dasharha tarnam adipah saaste yamabhyashin chat patra netro nirpasanasham parikritya dura. O my friend, tell me whether Ugrasen, the king of the Sattvatas, Vrishnis, Bhojas, and Dasharhas, is now doing well. He went far away from his kingdom, leaving aside all hopes of his royal throne. But Lord Krishna again installed him. Now he's asking about Ugrasen. Ugrasen was grandfather of Krishna, father of Kansa and Devaki. And in Mathura, he was dethroned by Kansa and he was put in the prison house. And Krishna again installed him on the throne. Means he put him on the throne again when they went to Dwarka. So because somehow there was a curse on this Vrishni dynasty, which is in which Krishna appeared, that nobody from the Vrishni dynasty could be a king. So that is also one of the reasons Krishna asked Maharaj Ugrasen to be the king to continue. Text 30. Kachid dhare somya sutah sadriksha aste agrani ratinam sadhu samba asutiyam jambavati vritadya devam guham yuam vikya dhrito agre. O gentle one, does Samba fare well? He exactly resembles the son of the personality of God. In a previous birth, he was born as Kartikeya in the womb of the wife of Lord Shiva. And now he has been born in the womb of Jambavati, the most enriched wife of Krishna. So many stories are here. So Samba was Kartikeya, who was born from Lord Shiva. And in this incarnation, he is born as son of Jambavati. And how Krishna married Jambavati, she was the daughter of Jambavan. Again, wonderful story, but that comes in 10th canto. Lord Shiva, one of the 3 qualitative incarnations of the personality of God, is a plenary expansion of the Lord. Kartikeya, born of him, is on the level of Pradyumna, another son of Lord Krishna. When Lord Shri Krishna descends into the material world, all his plenary portions also appear with him to exhibit different functions of the Lord. But for the pastimes at Vrindavan, all functions are performed by the Lord's different plenary expansion. Vasudeva is a plenary expansion of Narayan. When the Lord appeared as Vasudeva before Devaki and Vasudeva, he appeared in this capacity as Narayan. Similarly, all the demigods of the heavenly kingdom appeared as associates of the Lord in the forms of Pradyumna, Samba, Uddhava, etc. It's learned here that Kamadev appeared as Pradyumna, Kartikeya, Samba, and one of the Vasus as Uddhava. All of them served in the different capacities in order to enrich the pastimes of Krishna. So Kartikeya, as we all know, he is considered the commander-in-chief of the demigod's army. And anybody who wants victory, who desires victory, if he is worshipping demigods, he should worship Kartikeya. Text 31. Kshemam sa kachid yuyudhan asate yah falguna labd dhanur hasya lebhe and sadhokshad sevayava gatim tadiyam yadibhir udarapam. O Uddhava, does Yuyudhan fare well? He learned the intricacies of the military art from Arjuna and attained the transcendental destination, which is very difficult to reach even for great renouncers. The destination of transcendence is to become the personal associate of the personality of God, who is known as Adhokshaja, he who is beyond the reach of the senses. The renouncers of the world, the sannyasis, give up all worldly connections, namely family, wife, children, friends, home, wealth, everything, to attain the transcendental bliss of Brahman happiness. But Adhokshaja happiness is beyond Brahman happiness. So Adhokshaja happiness is even beyond Brahman happiness. The empiric philosophers enjoy a transcendental quality of bliss by philosophical speculation on the supreme truth. But beyond that pleasure is a pleasure enjoyed by Brahman in his eternal form of the personality of Godhead. So the pleasure one receives by serving Krishna is even beyond pleasure of Brahmjyoti and beyond Gyan or the speculation that the Jnani, the philosophical speculators, have. Brahman bliss is enjoyed by living entities after liberation from material bondage. But Para-Brahman, the personality of Godhead, enjoys eternally a bliss of his own potency, which is called the Hladini potency. The empiric philosopher who studies Brahman by negation of the external features has not yet learned the quality of the Hladini potency of Brahman. Out of many potencies of the omnipotent, there are three different features of his internal potency, namely Sambit, Sandhani, and Hladini. So this we have discussed earlier. Sambit, Sandhani, and Hladini. Now there are three features of the Supreme God, that is Sat, Chit, and Ananda. So Hladini Shakti corresponds to Ananda feature. Sambit Shakti corresponds to Chit feature, and Sandhani to the Sat feature. Sambit is by which Krishna knows everything, and Sandhani is by which everything exists eternally in the spiritual world. And in spite of their strict adherence to the principles of Yam, Niyam, Asana, Dhyan, Dharan, Pranayam, the great yogis and jnanis are unable to enter into the internal potency of the Lord. So even these jnanis and yogis, they cannot enter the internal potency. They cannot have this bliss that is provided by the Hladini Shakti. This internal potency is, however, easily realized by the devotees of the Lord by dint of devotion service. Yuyudhan achieved this stage of life just as he achieved expert knowledge in military science from Arjuna. Thus, his life was successful to the fullest extent from both the material and spiritual angles of vision. That is a way of devotional service to the Lord. So here Prabhupada is clearly saying that devotional service to the Lord doesn't mean we forget the material angle of our lives. So we can be expert in both material life and spiritual life. Text 32. Kachit buddha swastyanam aste shafalka putro bhagvat prapannaha yah krishna padankit marga panso vacheshtata prema vibhinna dharya. Please tell me whether Akrura, the son of Shvafalka, is doing well. He is a faultless soul surrendered unto the personality of God. He once lost his mental equilibrium due to his ecstasy of transcendental love and fell down on the dust of a road which was marked with the footprints of Lord Krishna. So this particular incident happened when Akrurji came to Vrindavan from Mathura at the order of Kansa to bring Krishna and Balram. So when he came to Vrindavan, so as we have read earlier, that the dust of Vrindavan or the dust of Braj, wherever Krishna would walk on the dust, that dust would keep the footprints of Krishna intact, so that she would remember, and any devotees passing by, they would remember Krishna. So Akrurji, when he was coming, he saw those imprints of lotus feet of Krishna on the dust, and he felt he got down from his chariot and he fell down on those foot imprints, crying with love. And this is what this shloka is referring to. When Akrura came to Vrindavan in search of Krishna, he saw the footprints of the Lord on the dust of Nandagram, and at once fell on them in ecstasy of transcendental love. This ecstasy is possible for a devotee who is fully absorbed in incessant thoughts of Krishna. Such a pure devotee of the Lord is naturally faultless because he is always associated with the supremely pure personality of Godhead. Constant thought of the Lord is the antiseptic method for keeping oneself free from the infectious contamination of the material qualities. So constant thought of the Lord is the antiseptic method for keeping oneself free from the infectious contamination of the material qualities. So constant thought, constant chanting of his names, constant remembering his pastimes, constantly being engaged in his service. Basically, this is what gives us that shield, or provides us a shield, or immunizes us against any contamination of material qualities. So it's very important we put on that shield every day. And every second, in fact, if we can remember or talk about him, but at least let's put that shield on of 16 rounds, chanting of 16 rounds every morning. So there's some hope that we will not fall into the clutches of Maya. The pure devotee of the Lord is always in company of the Lord by thinking of him. Yet, in the particular context of time and place, the transcendental emotions take a different turn, and this breaks the mental equilibrium of the devotee. Lord Chaitanya displayed the typical example of transcendental ecstasy, as we can understand from the life of his incarnation of God. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, obviously, he came with the mood of Srimati Radharani, and he wanted to taste the sweetness of Krishna's love, the sweetness that Radharani is tasting, the beauty of Krishna that Radharani is seeing. And he wanted to taste the love that she has for Krishna. And when he tasted that, he could not contain himself. That's also we can say it's a sign of how great the love of Srimati Radharani is for Krishna, or how greatly she experiences and she does not lose her mental equilibrium by tasting this love. Of course, when she was in complete separation, she lost. But that is a different story. That's very high stage. So anyway, we'll stop here. So anybody have any questions or comments?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Thank you.
And a very nice background. I just kept on watching it. Just
Thank you.
can't
There you
believe
go.
eyes, It's so nice. So beautiful.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
You said that Vidura was born of a maid servant, and yet it is mentioned that he is Pandava is the brother and Dhritarashtra is the brother. What is the connection?
Well, Pandav, Dhritarashtra, and Vidura, they were born from three. Well, two of them were sisters, Ambika and Ambalika, and the third was a maid servant. But they all had the same father, Vedvyas.
Okay. Same father. What did you say the name is?
Vedvyas.
Vedvyas. Okay. Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Any other question or comment? I guess we can stop here. You all have a wonderful day. Hare Krishna. Jai Shri Krishna.
Hare
Thank you,
Krishna.
Prabhuji.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Jai Shri